On the 3rd of June 2025, the leadership of Mkhonto Wesizwe, after national officials meeting, announced the discontinuation of my role as the Secretary General of Mkhonto Wesizwe. And when the appointment of the announcement was made, there was an indication that we would be redeployed to the National Assembly to form part of the Parliamentary Caucus of Mkhonto Wesizwe. The principle established in the public announcement was that no leader and no member of Mkhonto Wesizwe should speak about the reasons why the decision was taken. But it appears that there are those who are talking freely and in most instances almost distorting just what transpired. So, as a disciplined member of Mkhonto Wesizwe, I want to put on record as to what were the reasons that were given the national officials for my redeployment. The reason given in the national officials for my deployment or removal as Secretary General was that I want to overthrow President Zuma as the president of Mkhonto Wesizwe. That is what was said. That all the work that we were doing as Secretary General of establishing structures and identifying leaders was meant ultimately at the removal of President Zuma as president of Mkhonto Wesizwe. And as part of that reasoning, an extremely bizarre and fake intelligence report was produced, which was claimed to be a conversation between me and some people in the African continent, where it is alleged that despite raising money to remove President Zuma, I'm also accumulating supernatural powers to make people disappear. That is the reason why we got to, so we had to deal with superstitious issues as the basis of what happens. That there's apparently a head which I was going to be given to give to someone, and some people were going to die so that I can become president of Mkhonto Wesizwe. That was the intelligence report which we rejected with contempt and said that that is absolute rubbish. President of Mkhonto Wesizwe, whom I dearly and so deeply respect, is surrounded by political scoundrels who opportunistically use his kindness, sometimes gullibility that comes with age, to write down fake intelligence report to influence him towards the wrong directions. And the reason they do that is because they want to steal money of Mkhonto Wesizwe. And they are doing so now. Withdrawal of not less than 7 million rand every month from the organizational coffers. That is what defines, and that is what, and we're talking about this because we raised it internally that stop what you are doing, because you're going to get the party deregistered as a political party, because there's no sound reason on what has been happening, and it's things that we can prove beyond any reasonable doubt. I learned more as a member of Mkhonto Wesizwe than I learned as a deputy president of the EFF. In terms of real politics and appreciation of both the domestic and the global politics, much more thoroughly in terms of the issues. And under no circumstances would I ever fault President Zuma and his politics. I joined Mkhonto Wesizwe because I thought that as part of the political historiography of South Africa, his politics and character should be protected, and a legacy built around his proper politics, not the ones of gullibility and the producing of fake intelligence report. There have been a lot of comrades who came from Mkhonto Wesizwe, from the ANC, from the EFF, to say, what then do we do moving forward? Because I did explain to them what were the developments. And a substantial number of those say that don't ever try to join the ANC, and I fully agree with them. That will never join the ANC. It's directionless, it doesn't know what it's doing, it's in collaboration with the white system now. And there are those who say don't ever join or rejoin the economic freedom fighters because it's a cult. And I agree with them. There is no space for sound ideological reasoning, and there's no self-respecting person who can join both the ANC and the EFF. I agree with that fully. And there are those who said that these fundamental weaknesses with Mkondo Sizwe, that the organization seems to be run by a family and seems to be inconsistent on issues of discipline, seems to be directionless and sometimes takes conservative and reactionary positions. I say that part of the reasons why we joined Mkondo is we could observe from far that we can allow in South Africa in a political organization that can become a tribalist and regional organization with such influence. Instead of throwing insults at MK, we have to play a role in contributing to its ideological character and politics and direction. And I think that we did successfully in terms of what happened. A political party must not be a platform for self-enrichment. It must not be a fiefdom. It must not be a cult. If anything, a political party should be a fighting instrument and vehicle to the people of South Africa. Must deeply espouse the principles of democracy and democratic consultations in terms of how decisions are taken. Must be transparent and must be accountable in the work that it does. So to the comrades that came to say, let us form a political party, we say that we can't take that decision. Let us subject that process to the people of South Africa. So we're here today to announce that we're going to be convening the process of consulting the people of South Africa on the formation of a political movement that will be a true representative of the people of South Africa. And not a personal project, and not a group of friends project, not a cult, and not a fiefdom. So over the next few months, we will be consulting all the traditional leaders, we will be consulting all the church leaders, religious leaders in different institutions. Is there a need to form a political party? That is the first question that I want to ask. That if yes, what should be the values and principles of that political party? And what should distinguish that political party from the existing political parties? So those are the questions that we're going to be asking. We're also going to ask as to how should that political party be funded? So those are the questions that we're going to be asking different communities and constituents.
Floyd Shivambu just dropped a political bombshell, and South Africa is buzzing. In a bold and unexpected media briefing held in Midrand on Thursday, the MK party member made it clear, he's not just here to shake the table, he might just flip it entirely. Shivambu announced he's establishing a committee to explore whether South Africa needs a brand new political party. And if you think this is just noise, think again, this could seriously change the game. Now, let's unpack what happened, because this wasn't your typical political statement filled with vague promises and recycled slogans. Shivambu stood before the cameras with the kind of confidence that says he's got something brewing. He explained that this committee would consult widely with communities, civil society groups, political thinkers, and ordinary South Africans to assess whether there's an appetite, no, a need, for a fresh political movement. This is coming at a time when South Africans are increasingly disillusioned with existing parties. Trust in government is low. Service delivery failures are stacking up. Corruption scandals have become the soundtrack of our democracy. So when someone like Shivambu, who's been in the trenches of political power for years, starts talking about forming something new, it's not just political theatre. It's a potential pivot point. Now keep in mind, Shivambu isn't a political lightweight. He's got experience, connections, and a massive following, particularly among younger voters. So this isn't some outsider making noise from the sidelines. This is a seasoned player possibly preparing to write a whole new playbook. What makes this even more interesting is that he's doing it while still associated with the MK party, which raises major questions. Is this a signal of internal conflict? A personal power move? Or is it a genuine attempt to create a movement that's more inclusive, more accountable, and more aligned with the frustrations and hopes of ordinary South Africans? One of the most striking things he said during the briefing was that South Africa needs a party that listens before it speaks. A jab at the noise of the current political landscape? Maybe, but it hit a nerve. People are tired of being spoken at. They want a party that actually reflects their daily struggles: load shedding, unemployment, crime, housing, failing infrastructure. Not just empty manifestos every election cycle. So what's next? Shivambu says the committee will spend the next few months doing groundwork. They'll be traveling across provinces, hosting dialogues, and reporting back on their findings. It's not a guaranteed party launch, yet. But make no mistake, the wheels are in motion. And depending on what this committee finds, South Africa could be on the verge of welcoming a new political player to the field. Of course, not everyone is thrilled. Critics are already questioning his motives.